A very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Norway, to Førde, and the European Championships on the second day of competition, with just about to start the women's 53-kilo final. And alongside myself, David Goldstrom, Commonwealth Games champion, Michaela Breeze, herself overall bronze medalist in the European Championships in a few years back. But this 53-kilo final, well, it's got some real talent in the lineup today. 9 countries represented, a spread of only 19 kilos. As you see the contenders with their body weights, let's meet them here. This is Badia Tunadargi, and she represents Turkey, coming back to competition after school teachering for a few years. Julia Schwarzbach, the silver medalist from last year's Europeans, representing Germany. And then Ateneri Hernandez for Spain, 5th in the Junior Worlds a couple of seasons ago. For the Ukraine, Yulia Paratova, twice the European champion and the defending champion also. Then this is the second of the Turkish contestants, Sema Atatürk, 15th in the World Championships, but an under-23 champion last season. Rebecca Koha, European Junior and Youth champion last season, and Maya Ivanova, representing Bulgaria, bronze medalist last year. Kristina Yovu, a strong challenger, a bronze medalist from the Olympic Games. And then Kristina Sobol for Russia, European under-23 champion 3 seasons ago, and completing the lineup in our first ever international, and this is Evangelina Veli for Albania. So you've now met the contenders. We're going to take a very short break. We'll miss nothing. We'll be back for the start of the competition after this. Once again, a very good afternoon, and welcome once again to Norway for the women's 53-kilo competition. And on the screen there, the opening body weights that each of the contenders have posted. And now into this very spacious warm-up room. Michaela Breeze alongside me for this competition. 53 kilos, 116 3/4 pounds, or just about 8 1/4 stone and a little bit. And Michaela, some really strong contenders in here, not least the defending champion.
Yes, we've got a number of very strong athletes here, but 2 in particular. Paratova of the Ukraine, she is going to be coming out as a force to be reckoned with, and so is Kristina Yovo. She has posted the same weights, both of them pretty much. It's going to be a good battle, I think.
So here's the first young woman onto the stage. And this is Maya Ivanova, representing Bulgaria. First attempt of 75 kilos. The best in the B group earlier in the day was 78. More of that in a moment.
That's what we like to see. First attempt nailed. These lifters only get 3 snatches, 3 clean and jerks, and it really is important to secure the first attempt.
And as you can see there, she only goes into 5th place because the B group, the best, Anna Govinian of Armenia, 78 kilos, and there were a number of other lifters who achieved more than 75 kilos. So that's the initial target here. So following herself, and the bar going up to 77 kilos. Maya Ivanova.
Well, there's games going on in the warm-up room. You can just see there the German coach waiting for his athlete to be called on 77. As soon as the athlete was called, he's then upped his starting weight, which will now force the bar straight back to Ivanova. Well, there's several coaches changing the weights here.
Number 10.
Yeah.
It's 78 now.
Number 10, 83.
Yes, interesting little piece of cat and mouse earlier on in this competition, and it could be the athlete who is making her international debut here. You're not looking at her in the moment, but it looks as if it's going to be Badia Tunadachi. Actually, not her international debut, but her international comeback, I should say, because she was in the Olympic Games in London, where she finished 15th, but then went off to pursue her career of school teaching, and has only in the last year returned to competition, representing Turkey, 78 kilos. And it's actually Hernandez now on the Spain on the stage, so you can see how quickly those weights and changes were made.
Good opening attempt from Hernandez of Spain. 78 kilos. Her warm-up has clearly gone to plan. She originally posted 75, so has increased it by 3 kilos. Looking very calm, very focused as she comes off. Good extension, really fast into the receiving position. And that's the way to start her European bid. Just see the bar still floating upwards as she changed direction to drop under. Great lifting.
So Ivanova is out now at 78 kilos. She weighed in at 52.74. So she's heavier than the young Spanish woman who just preceded her.
I'd like to see a replay from the side if we can. Just left the bar out in front, either through her shoulders back or it drifted onto her toes. Let's have a look. She'll have 2 minutes to follow herself now, as nobody else wants that weight. Oh, I just didn't quite get the extension. Not quite enough height generated on the bar. She'll be disappointed. 1 attempt remaining.
So still, it's Anna Govelyan of Armenia who leads, but Ateneri Hernandez-Martin with that successful first attempt at 78 kilos now in second place, but only in second place by virtue of slightly heavier body weight.
See some of the other athletes here warming up. That was 65 kilos on the bar. I believe that was Ajaturk of Turkey. See, there's every lifter has their own platform, which is great. You don't have to share with anybody. You can stay in your own zone, stay focused, just you and the coaches.
Yes, I'm going to be fascinated, Michaela, to see Kristina Yobu. Here you're seeing Paratova.
Very army in her warm-up attempts.
Her main challenger, but particularly because Yobu has been traveling in her career. Started off in Moldova, went to Azerbaijan, now representing Romania, and is really coming back into competition. She moved from Moldova to Azerbaijan after the Olympic Games and then was disqualified. And now when we see her, it'll be her return to competition. So it may not be as easy for her. And it's not as easy for Ivanova. Third attempt and a failure.
Yeah, very disappointing. Unable to find the leg power, the explosion through the middle part of the lift. That's where all the power is generated. Just needed another inch or so to be able to get enough height to get under. Left it out in front. That's disappointing. Left with just 1 lift in the snatch, 75 kilos.
Well, I'm interested to see how Julia Schwarzbach gets on here. She was the silver medalist in last year's European Championships in Georgia, in Tbilisi. But for the World Championships last November, December, she dropped back down to 48 kilos and has now come back to 53 kilos. So this for the outright lead, 79 kilos.
Well, that's a very solid opening attempt. Whether or not she can replicate a silver medal at this championships, time will tell. That's put it in the competition, but there's still 6, 7 other lifters still to start. Very fast underneath the bar. She knew exactly where it was going. And that kind of precision only comes with many, many thousands of repetitions of practice. Those budding weightlifters out there, you've got to spend the time on the bar, you've got to put the time and effort in. And these athletes, most of which are now training as full-time lifters and will be committing probably 6 days a week in the gym.
And onto the stage now for the first time comes Bedia Funagaje for Turkey, 80 kilos on the bar. Now, this was the young woman I referred to earlier on who's come back from school teaching back into competition. Oh, that was so close.
Well, it's tough, you know, to be out of competition, particularly on the international stage for so many years. It was back in 2012 we last have a result posted. It's tough to come back onto this kind of platform and execute. Clearly quite nervous.
Yeah, she was 15th in the Olympics in London, but that actually was the higher bodyweight category. She was up at 58 kilos, so she's yo-yoed a little bit in her career, but hopefully the second time out she can make that correction. So the bar at 80 kilos. Julia Schwarzbach of Germany at the moment in the lead with 79. Ahead of the lifter, the Armenian from the B group earlier on in the day, Anna Govelian. And change again. So this would put the Turkish lifter into the lead. Go a little way back in time. She's been as good as fourth in Europe, but like at the Olympics, she was lifting as a 58 kilo contender on that occasion.
Well, didn't that look comfortable?
Yeah, that's why the first attempt failure is so disappointing, really, because that was technically excellent.
Yeah, it just limits how far she's now able to go in the competition. First one she left out in front of that time, making up for it. You can see the chalk around the cheeks. It looks like she's given herself a little bit of a slap just to try and wake herself up.
And onto the stage comes Ateneri Hernandez-Mata for Spain. The bar's gone up another kilo to 81. Ateneri, multi-junior European champion. And at 21 years of age, one of the younger members of this category today. 3 kilo increase.
Now that's a gutsy effort. Personal best of 80 previously. That's 81. There's the new record for herself that she set. How much further can she go? I'm not sure. That looked to be...
Well, I've actually got her personal best at 83 from last year's Europeans.
Well, she's going to need to find a bit more leg drive if she's going to generate enough upward momentum on the bar for much more, but that was a good effort. She's smiling. She's still got one to go.
A number of these young women have already, in the last 6 months, met each other in competition. A good many have been out to the World Championships last year in Houston. And so they know because they were fighting against each other. Julia Schwarzbach finished 24th in Houston. Ateneri Hernandez finished in 23rd place. So those just two who've met, and Rebecca Koha of Latvia, she was arguably the best of those who were out in Houston in 10th place. So, first appearance now of Sema Ajaturk. She was 15th in the World Championships last December in Houston, the under-23 European champion of last season.
Really aggressive as soon as she came off the floor.
Yeah, it's quite dynamic, really. And 82 kilos.
Well, I was just wondering, though, did she put the bar down before the referees gave her the signal?
2-1.
I wasn't sure. I didn't hear the buzzer, but I didn't want to say anything. Well, she stood up, put the bar pretty much straight down. I don't think she had the buzzer. I heard the buzzer after. You can see the coaches asking for a response as well.
It's an unfortunate and, in a way, silly way to lose a good lift.
Well, it's a very, very basic error, and the problem is these lifters will be used to going in the gym, rep after rep. As soon as it's done, get it off, put it straight down, and it just seemed like that was more of a training lift, forgetting that she was in competition.
3 kilo increase here for Julia Schwarzbach to put her back into first place.
Oh, that was nowhere near. That's really disappointing. Her first attempt was so dynamic. Just lacking the confidence to fully commit to this 82 kilos. Didn't really set herself at the start. That may have cost her. Personal best of, well, I've got down 83 in competition. I believe she's also done 85 when I was talking to her coaches just before the competition started.
So, Ajaturk.
Well, she's in trouble now. That first attempt was very comfortable. You can see she's quite frustrated, probably still not sure why she had the first attempt failed. That attempt was a bit rushed, jumped back from the bar. And she's now got 2 failures to her name, and that's going to put her under some pressure.
Yeah, it's clearly unsettled her, and she's only, in a way, fortunate that because Julia Schwarzbach failed at this weight of the second attempt, that she's got a bit more recovery time to really get her head in shape, because I'm sure the Turkish lifter is strong enough to pick up that weight. So now, Germany, third attempt. Oh,
that's
and that
psychological.
That just went straight out of her head. That was like a light switch going out.
Well, I think the previous attempt was as well. It was never a committed attempt, and that was even worse. Just trying to rip the bar off with her upper body. You can't do that. You've got to be able to use your legs. Plenty of height on the bar to be able to get underneath. Just didn't believe it.
So, little work going on the bar, cleaning the bar, because maybe 1 or 2 little cuts and coming on to the bar and just cleaning off and make sure there's no blood.
There's a bit of a panic going on right there. They don't look too happy, do they, the Turkish coaches? Here's the coaching advice. There's the bar. Lift it.
Well, she lifted 82 kilos in Houston in the World Championships. So it is a weight that she's achieved before. And in relatively recent times. So she's got to put those 2 failures completely out of her mind, almost come out here and start afresh, but make this to keep herself in with a chance of a total. The time is fine.
Stand still, wait for the buzzer. There we are. Yes, that's one angry lifter.
And it's a big setback for her because I think, you know, if she got the first time 82 kilos, probably it's not unreasonable to have seen her go for 86.
I think there was a good few kilos more. Very, very capable today. But when you make a basic error that she did on the first attempt, put the bar down before the buzzer.
Now, Evangelina Veli for Albania. First international competition. Straight to the bar.
Oh, is she going to hold it? Needs to stand. Does she have the legs?
That is some determination.
Well, that's a lifter that's working hard all over. Shoulders, the core, the glutes, everything's engaged there to fight that, to stop it going forwards, to stop it going backwards. Just look how hard she had to work.
And she is. The other thing I was going to say, Michaela, is she's the lightest of the class. You mean she weighed in at 52.01. So almost a full kilo inside the 53-kilo category. But I was talking to her coach not just before the warm-up, but earlier on in the day, and he was saying, you know, that she's a really, really strong, determined individual. But she just proved that there. Now, a Teneri for Spain, a Teneri Hernandez, 83 kilos. And here again, an attempt to go into the lead in the first of these disciplines, the snatch.
Well, I think a lot of lifters would probably need knee surgery after that. She's clearly very flexible. Just on her toes. As soon as she landed, she was on her toes. Gave it everything she had.
Yeah, it leaves her on 81 kilos.
Well, at least you can see the funny side of it. These lifters, though, particularly the Spanish team, are fighting for every single place they can, as many of the countries are here trying to gain points to qualify themselves for the Olympics.
But the other side of the sport, it's really nice to see someone who's actually enjoying herself.
It is, yeah. You know, you can beat yourself up if you miss a lift, but at the end of the day, you can only give it your best at that split second, and that's what she did.
So the bar now going to 85 kilos. I thought for one moment we were going to see the Latvian lifter, Koha, but I think it's the Russian, Kristina Sobol, to start her campaign. Kristina Sobol, 24 years of age, has put out an entry total, a target, so to speak, of 190 kilos. That would be some 15 kilos down on Cristina Iovu of the Romanian team, who put in the biggest of the entry totals.
Very solid into the receiving position. I do think she was slightly forward, and I think that red light was for a soft elbow. I wouldn't have called it a press out.
Let's see it from the front and see whether we agree with the central referee.
Well, not from this angle. There we go. Yeah, right elbow. I don't know. There was, it was soft. I think it was the right decision, 2-1. It wasn't an obvious press out. For those that are new to the sport of weightlifting, the rules specify the bar must go to arm's length. No bending or flexing at all in the elbows.
So Russia in the lead, now Turkey challenging. And this is Tuna Daja, currently down in 5th place, 3rd and last attempt. Weighed in at 52.12, so this would put her by body weight into 1st place.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, it was a big ask. She missed 80 first attempt, then secured it. 5 kilo increase when these lifters are only weighing sub 53. It's quite a big increase, quite a big jump. And that was an attempt to stay in contention for medals. But she's just blown it. Never believed it. You cannot take these weights off the floor half-heartedly. You have to be fully committed.
And just to, well, maybe whet your appetite, Michaela, Christina Yobu, who's in today's competition, is the European snatch record holder at 99 kilos. But it'll be interesting to see with her and Paratova if it determines into or goes into a sort of ding-dong battle between these two. Now, the Latvian Rebecca Koha, and here is a young woman who's making real progress. Last year's youth and junior European champion.
Well, Koha still so young, only 17 years of age. She's still in school at the moment. And I was talking to her coaches before the competition got underway, and they said she'll probably go on and study a sports-related course after school, physiotherapy maybe. But she's a lifter with some precision, great technical ability, great speed.
And starting just a kilo short of her personal best. So that was a great start, and actually great to have a Latvian in this weight class. I can't actually remember a Latvian lifter for a while. That was Evangelina Veli failing for Albania.
Well, committed, just left the bar in front. See here, just on her toes a fraction early, only just jumps backward a couple of inches, but it's enough to leave the bar in front.
So there, the teenage Latvian leads the way, and followed by the Russian. They still have 2 attempts, but it's worth mentioning, of course, Paratova, the defending champion, and Yobu of Romania. She is now yet to start. And there you can see them at the bottom of the list. Well, Veli doesn't hang about, Michaela. She's straight onto the stage.
Oh, fighting hard, can't quite hold it. Bar never quite stopped overhead. It was always moving backwards, and there's only so long you can hold on to it.
And I don't know what you think, but again, you know, that was a 4 kilo increase. Both
Weight
times.
she can do, the bar's clearly to arm's length. Just for the, if you can see from the side, you'll see the bar swinging as it goes overhead. Doesn't quite stop, it just keeps moving. And if you hold it any longer, you're going to be risking injury.
Yeah, the point, well, I'll come to the point I was going to make in a moment. But let's see Sobol lift. And that was pretty solid.
Well, 2 out of 2. Consistency is everything. That's a 3 kilo increase. Very businesslike in her manner.
No, the point I was thinking about with Veli, first international, and I was going to propose to you, you know, for somebody coming out on a stage like that, instead of going with the 4 kilo increase, maybe something a little bit more measured. I mean, she's never been on a stage like this.
Well, yeah, but it's a weight she's capable of. I mean, she had it to arm's length. You've got to trust that these lifters and the coaches will make the right decision. From our point of view, it's quite easy when they come out and miss lifts for us to comment and say, oh, they should have taken a couple of kilos less. But, you know, these athletes, all of them, every single one of these lifters has cut body weight for today.
So, Paratova, the defending champion, 90 kilos, 110, totaling up 200 in Tbilisi last year, but she is the European snatch record holder with 99 kilos to her credit.
Well, the raise of the eyebrows, the look of frustration as if to say I should have nailed that. So, I don't know if you remember, but right back at the start of the competition, we saw her warming up with just 35 kilos, and I said it looked quite army. She's a lifter that doesn't really set her back position or chest position, and as a result, the bar's always in front.
And here comes her, well, at least on paper, arch rival, the Olympic bronze medalist representing Moldova back in London in 2012, since which time she's gone to Azerbaijan and now represents Romania today. First attempt, 90 kilos on the bar for the lead.
Wow. Kristina Jovo looking extremely strong.
Well, she's not only arguably one of the great achievers in this particular class today, but she's certainly experienced more than most, and technically that was spot on.
Well, it was very, very fast, very dynamic, oozing with confidence.
So Koha, this would take her back into the lead here by virtue of her lighter body weight. And that's a really good second attempt.
Yes,
well,
it is.
2-1, so we need to look at it from the front again, but that seemed to me, Michaela, to be...
There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely spot on with the arms, no issues. Really good technically, just throws the shoulders back a fraction, but brilliant overhead.
Yulia Paratova out onto the stage, 29 years of age.
Well, it's there.
How convincing?
Not overly convincing from where I'm sat. I just think this is one of her traits, I know, that seems... Well.
Well, the bar had its momentum there.
You just see how hard that was off the floor, how slow the bar travelled past the knees. And I say to my lifters all the time, the speed off the floor is irrelevant.
But you'll see this from the side here.
Only just. Such a fine margin for error, especially when the bar's going behind. And she did the sensible thing, rather than trying to fight it and risk injury in the shoulder or elbow. Good effort, not quite there.
So, at this stage of the competition, Rebecca Koha, the youngest of the class, representing Latvia, leading the way here by virtue of lighter body weight and coming out to try and make it 3 out of 3. This is a 2-kilo increase. Well, this is truly the big question now, Michaela. The third one always is tougher, but athletes at these ages often improve very rapidly, but this is a big question.
Disappointed, but she has got herself a medal, guaranteed. The question is, which colour? She'll look back and learn from this experience.
And that's a very good point. I mean, that's a reward in itself, isn't it?
It is.
Get a medal at this age in a senior championship. And remember, you know, just last season, the youth and junior European champion. And I must say, Kristina Jovo looks really serious, doesn't she? Looks as if she's really ready for business today. So 94 kilos on the bar now to take up from third into the lead.
Wow, this is the pressure now, lifting at the top end. Only 2 athletes left in the competition. The pressure, I guess, is coming from Koha, who's already in the gold medal position. Both Paratova and Yovu need to secure one of these 94s to take away that gold medal.
So Paratova has asked for 94 kilos, and she's the lighter of the two. Now, that means that if she gets this, Yovu would have to take an extra kilo and go 95. So very much in Paratova's hands here to really turn the screw on Kristina Yovu. So let's see what the defending champion can make of this.
Well, this needs to be much more convincing than the previous attempt. Well, that's the way to do it. Shocking start to the competition, but two great lifts to recover.
And the third one, the best of the lot.
And it is, absolutely. Puts herself right up into gold medal position, and the pressure now is on Yovu. Does she take 94 and just be happy and complacent to stay with Paratova, or does she go 95, which is what she's done, to try and win the gold on the snatch? If, however, she misses this, she's left back on 90 kilos, which is quite a big deficit to make up.
Well, she's taken the extra kilo. I thought she would, actually.
This is a pressurised lift. Gold or bronze?
And Yulia Paratova has got the gold medal in the snatch, and Rebecca Koha, far from getting a bronze. The teenager has taken the silver, and Kristina Yovu of Romania, the Olympic bronze medalist from London, a bronze only, and also now finds herself 4 kilos behind the defending champion.
Well, this makes for a very interesting clean and jerk, because Yovu has posted a couple of kilos more than Paratova.
The defending champion in first place and at the moment in command of the competition. The athletes now into a 10-minute warm-up process for the clean and jerk.
Well, there it is. Save the best till last.
Absolutely. Paratova. So you won't see her for a while when the clean and jerk gets underway, but we'll be back after this with some highlights of yesterday. Well, just a minute or two to go before we start the second part of this women's 53 competition. Michaela Breeze together with myself, David Goldstrom, and this is the scene in the warm-up room. And an interesting situation at the halfway stage, because the defending champion, with a little bit of fortune from the failures of her main rival, Kristina Yovu, Paratova in the lead.
Górnik, 90 kilograms again on the bar, Rebecca Kocha. Lampie, second head, Yulia.
So Yulia Paratova is the woman who's in the lead, the defending champion representing the Ukraine. 94 kilos from the teenager, Rebecca Kocha, finds herself just 4 kilos behind. And then in third place, somewhat surprisingly, Kristina Yovu with that second and third attempt failures of 94 and 95 kilos. Rebecca Kocha, well, clearly, Michaela, a real talent. 17 years of age, seems to be full of confidence.
I think she's going to be one of the lifters to be reckoned with over the next Olympic cycle. Is this too early for her to make a mark on the Olympics this year? I'm not sure. But she's a lifter coming through the ranks with tremendous pace. And she's a very determined, very focused athlete.
So the first competitor about to come onto the stage, and it's going to be Maya Ivanova, I think, from Bulgaria. The game wants, again, a little bit of cat and mouse amongst the coaches as to decide the opening weights. And 96 kilos with the 1 minute clock started already, and Ivanova on her way. So Maya Ivanova, the first of the lifters out for the clean and jerk in this women's 53 kilo class, and 96 kilos on the bar. But she's got some catching up to do after the first half of the competition.
Just a small wobble in the jerk position, trying to recover. The feet must be back in line before the referees will give her the down signal. Not too much of an issue, though. Bar automatically goes up by 1 kilo. Big drive to arm's length, elbows interlock, no flexion, no movement.
And that gives her a total of 171 kilos. Now, that total made up, obviously, of the 96 and the 75 kilos that she attempted first time around in the snatch discipline. And that finds her now 3 kilos short of the woman who was best of all in the B group earlier in the day. That's Anna Govnelian of Armenia, who totaled up 174, 78 kilos from the snatch and 96 kilos in the clean and jerk. Of course, medals available in the snatch, the clean and jerk, as well as the total, but the total medals are really the prize. So, Tenere Hernandez at the halfway stage. Hernandez down in 7th place, only bringing forward 81 kilos, so she's a full 13 kilos behind the current leader, Paratova, who you won't be seeing for a wee while.
Well, Hernandez starts with a very wide grip, and after the clean, just adjusts her hands that bit wider. That makes the jerk easier, less distance for the bar to travel. And it's great if you have the flexibility in your wrists, elbows and shoulders to allow that to happen. Not quite fully extended with the legs, but nonetheless still able to generate enough height. Big drive to arm's length, really solid overhead.
Already, this is the woman who weighed in heavier than anybody else in the class at 52 kilos 74. Julia Schwarzbach, now a European silver medalist last year, but not looking in that sort of form this time around. Schwarzbach 9th only at the halfway stage, Mikhailo. Really disappointing. 2 failures in the snatch discipline.
Wow, brilliant overhead. Drifted slightly onto her toes as she dipped, but so good in that overhead position, it wasn't a problem. Quite a bit down on where she's been, and you just never know how many kilos these lifters have had to lose in body weight, how much that affects the legs.
Yeah, and a personal best in this is some time ago, 107 kilos, but you've got to go back 6 years to find that.
Yeah, I know she's done 108 in training. I know training doesn't quite count as the same as competition, usually because the lifters are training overweight anyway. but it's not a weight that she has been close to it. So I'd expect a good few kilos increase between first and second attempts.
Interesting decision, though, for the World Championships to go down to 48 and then come back for this.
Yeah, clearly decided it's a bit too far to go on a regular basis.
So, Badia Dunadaja for Turkey, 100 kilos on the bar for this returnee to international competition. 15th in the London Olympic Games at 58 kilos.
Well, we alluded to the different techniques that are possible for the jerk yesterday. Just to clarify, most of the lifters will be attempting a split jerk where the feet move evenly forwards and backwards. Here, we're watching an attempt, I think it was an attempt at a squat jerk, trying to go down. But the difference between a squat and a power is quite simply how low you receive the bar. Power is above 90 degrees, squat below 90 degrees.
Kristina Sobol now, 4th at the halfway stage for Russia. Also 100 kilos on the bar. That looked hard.
That looked harder. Well, just wondering how much the clean took out of her. Was the bar on her windpipe? Makes it very difficult to breathe, difficult to get the oxygen to the brain. Disappointing first attempt, though. Solid underneath. Drives not quite high enough. Trying to shove the bar with her arms. Need the legs to finish driving before the arms do anything.
Now, this woman was very direct through the first half of the competition.
Well, pretty convincing for a first attempt.
Yeah, pleased for her. You know, first international, she had a couple of setbacks by missing 2 attempts at 84 kilos in the snatch.
Yeah.
Now, you know, she's got a total.
She has. She can relax a little and go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking to her beforehand, her English is very good. She has a personal best of 107 kilos in competition, but in training she's done 109.
So Ivanova in 5th place, currently leading then Veli with a total of 183 kilos ahead of Teneri Hernandez of Spain, 179. Julia Schwarzbach, early days in 3rd place at 178 kilos overall, that is. So Ivanova on 171 kilos total, and she's not having a good day.
She's not. And that is a psychological barrier. Okay, it's the big 100, getting close to double body weight, but you know, on this kind of platform, you've got to step onto the platform and really believe in your ability. It was a good deadlift, but that's about it.
What would you say? I mean, from the very first attempt in the snatch, the body language has really just not been convincing. You know, there's no outward, you know, sign of, you know, fire and determination.
Well, each to their own. Every athlete prepares in their own way, and you can look on somebody and say, oh, they look too relaxed or they look too fired up. But no, for her, it's just not there today.
So, Badia Turadaji, second attempt at 100 kilos. Missed it first time around.
Well, this is another athlete that we're seeing, and another Turk, funnily enough, who is oscillating the bar on the shoulders. Now, whether that missed jerk was because the weight was simply too heavy or she mistimed the oscillation, the rules specify the bar has to stay stationary right now on the shoulders, and you can see that bar whipping. If you don't catch the whip right, it's not going anywhere.
Kristina Sobol, also a failure, first time around. So, trying to make amends. That's better. got the timing much better.
No.
Oh, no.
Never to arm's length. Well, if she's lacking the legs to drive it to arm's length, then she needs to split wider and drop her body lower to get underneath. That's disappointing. Ivanova now under real pressure, as is Tunadaji of Turkey, both with 2 failed lifts. Got to register 1 to make a total.
Yeah, the total also in this particular competition, all the more important because of the final position in terms of the overall ranking, and ultimately the points that you may earn for your team towards an Olympic place, if not for yourself, then maybe for one of your teammates. Now, Ivanova, can she pull this one out of the bag now? This is really what she needs to do. Not for you and me, Michaela, but for herself.
Yeah, I want to see her get a bit more fired up. Believe in her ability.
Not there. I don't know. I just sense that, I don't know whether something has upset her before the competition or whatever, but
David, so much of this game is mental.
Yeah.
People think it's all about how strong you are. It's not. So strength is a part of it, and that's it. I used to break it up into thirds. A third technique, a third strength, and a third the mental toughness. And if you come onto a platform and don't believe it, forget it.
So here's Tunadaji again for Turkey, but with a similar situation of facing the possibility of not getting a total. That would be a horrible return to international competition. So fingers crossed that it's is a lift that she can make. She's so far only made 1 out of 5 lifts.
Well, that was better. No oscillation this time. Actually used her technical ability to drive the bar to arm's length. She's going to be frustrated. Why didn't that happen first attempt? 2 attempts wasted, but she's got a total. Really good recovery.
And that total takes her into overall second place with 180. Also lying in second place in the clean and jerk behind Veli of Albania, who continues to lead overall. And now Sobol, 3 in a row, and 3 each one having to save to keep themselves alive for an overall ranking position. So Sobol.
Good. Well, that's not the way you want your first senior international competition to finish. Bombed out, no total registered, 3 failures on the clean and jerk. What a shame.
So here's the woman who currently lies in 3rd place overall, trying to, as you can see, move up into the overall silver medal position.
Well, that's a brilliant lift. What do you have a personal best down as, David? Because that, to me...
I've got 102 as a personal best.
I'm going to say that's got to be right up there. That was a really, really solid lift. Worked hard on the clean, but the jerk overhead was superb.
That 102, by the way, was in the World Championships in Houston. So within the past 6 months.
Well, just lacking a bit of leg extension on the way up. Back rounded. But here, just brilliant. Solid in the arms. You've got to feel that if she cleans it, she's going to nail the jerk.
Now, already a medal to take home, a silver from the snatch for the 17-year-old Latvian, coming out here to open up on 102 kilos. She was the best of quite a few of those contenders she's faced today in Houston. She finished a very, very good 10th place in America in the Worlds.
Nice.
Very sharp.
I think sharp is a good word to describe Rebecca today. These lifters, you know, they train for many, many months. But the last few weeks, and particularly the last couple of weeks, is where the athletes will taper slightly, reduce the volume of their training to try and sharpen up. Some lifters are looking really sharp. Here's another one of them. Other lifters are still looking a bit sluggish.
Yeah, but it's really exciting to see a talent like Rebecca Koha. But now back to Julia Schwarzbach, who's been pushed back down to 5th place overall, but she's still got 2 attempts to come. This is a 3-kilo increase, and the clean and jerk is much more her cup of tea. Had to work for that.
Good overhead, though. Has she got it?
You would hope so, and delivers.
Yeah, another lifter. If she cleans it, she's going to jerk it.
As we said, days gone by, she could pick up 107 kilos. We're not sure that she could go quite that far today, but this is so different, isn't it, Michaela, to the snatch phase?
It is, but when you mess around with body weight and you drop down a category and then come back up, you can't expect to be at the top of your game, because you will have lost strength, you will have lost muscle mass. So she's doing extremely well to be back to these kind of weights. 1 attempt remaining.
And now the bar being prepared for Sema Ajaturk of Turkey, who's going to come out for her first attempt at 103 kilos. Now, this is a weight which she picked up in winning the Under-23 European Championship last season. That was in Klaipeda. Now, needs a good start to this second half of the competition. Needs this first attempt, not only for the kilos, but for the confidence.
Managed to stand still, wait for the referee's down signal, which she does. Ajaturk saved herself on the snatch, having missed her first 2 attempts, but a much, much more convincing start to the clean and jerk. Strong standing up out of the clean, as we can see here. Just took a second to steady herself. Solid overhead.
So into 2nd place overall. She leads the clean and jerk, but now Rebecca Koha in the overall lead, and now Hernandez Martin for Spain on 103 kilos. And this, for me, is now going for the personal best. So can she clean it?
This will be right on her limit. If she can clean it, she's got a great chance of completing the lift. Just watch that back, doesn't round too much. Gutsy.
Puts the hands out. Shortens the distance for the jerk.
Oh, clean just took that bit too much out of her. Well, she'll be disappointed, because she's always so confident and so consistent overhead. But when you are lifting on your limit, that can sometimes happen.
So it leaves her in overall 4th place. She was 7th in the first half of the competition in the snatch. But also, let's keep things in perspective here. She is only 21. She's a member of a very talented group of young Spanish women. So...
Well, she is. She's a full-time athlete as well, so you'd expect over the next few years for her to continue progressing.
Well, you're really looking towards the Tokyo Olympics of 20... what are we talking about now? 2020. So, Julia Schwarzbach. Now, at the moment, she's managed to move herself up to 5th place. And this is another 2-kilo increase. So these are measured steps here. Well, not for the first time in this competition, Michaela. There, once again, is the mental aspect of your sport.
Well, the loaders are just cleaning the bar as well. So I wonder if she's ripped a callus or something on her hand. That shouldn't have affected her. When you're in pain, you just don't feel it on these kind of platforms, not with the amount of adrenaline pumping through the body. Yeah, disappointing end to what has been a pretty reasonable competition for her.
So onto the stage comes Evangelina Velli, who's waited quite a while now. This is a 5-kilo increase. Moving her up to from 3rd to 2nd if she can. Oh, I'm not sure that would have been given anyway.
No, that's a shame.
You'll see from the front there, left arm, press
I don't know,
out.
I thought the arms were okay, but...
Did you? Let's have a look at...
It was just slightly forward. How she dropped it behind, I'm not sure. Clean was good, very strong standing out.
Ah,
see from this angle.
No, you need to see that straight on, yeah, but...
No, we won't.
So here's the current leader, Rebecca Koha. And Rebecca, 3-kilo increase here to 105 kilos. Now this is absolutely on her personal best. She did this in Houston in the Worlds on her way to her best ever total of 192 kilos. And she's already got 192. So this for a new personal best total. Oh, she is convincing.
She's the technician of this group. Moves her body through exactly the right positions, making the lift not necessarily look effortless, but as efficient as possible. Very fast, good back strength. Doesn't try and push with the arms. Her arms are not strong enough for this kind of weight. It's got to come from the legs. Drives the bar 2 arms length.
So terrific. She's got a silver medal from the snatch. She's not finished yet, but she's got a silver medal from the snatch, and now she's got a new personal best as a total.
Yeah, there's other lifters still in the competition, but let's see if she can hang on to a medal. It'd be great to see her stay on that podium if possible.
Of course, Kristina Jovu and Paratova yet to start. Paratova, who's posted 108 kilos for her opening attempt. Kristina Jovu of Romania, who's playing catch-up, remember, 110. And that would only close half the deficit. So Ajar Turk, 106 kilos.
İyi çek kızım, hadi bak. Çok güzel. Acele yok. Güzel yükseliyoruz. Acele yok. Sağlam.
Well, she needed this lift. The importance of this now as it makes up some of the deficit after the snatch. Is it enough to put her into medal position? It's She's still got one attempt remaining, and that final attempt is going to be critical. Really good, aggressive on the clean. Drives nicely to arm's length.
I think that was really pleasing, and she will be delighted with that because she's equaled up what she lifted in America during the World Championships. There were 106. Overall, she's gone into second place in the clean and jerk. She leads Veli out again speedily. Missed the 105, bar 106.
No.
Hips were behind. You'll see that in a moment, but...
Well, she took a gamble, went up another kilo to try and stay in contention for medals. Wasn't to be today. She actually posted 104 as a original opening starting weight, brought it down to 100, which by the looks of things was a sensible move.
Yeah, her target was 190, which was her entry total. She's actually ended up making only 2 out of 6 lifts and totaling up 183 kilos. She's currently still in the bronze medal position in the total. But again, worth remembering that that was her international debut performance. That was her international debut performance. So, Yulia Paratova now. Sticking to 108 for her opener, the defending champion. A couple of kilos below her personal best. 3 to be precise. No worries.
No, not a great elbow lock on the right side, but that's just the way she lifts.
2 to 1 against.
I didn't think it was a press out. That's just the structure of her
Well, got to see that from top to...
Here we go. Oh, I don't know. I didn't think that was too bad. Yes, it's not a great elbow lock. But I
thought that was all right. I think we might get a chance to look at that last one again from... here we go.
Nothing wrong with a clean. Do you know what? I think that she's been hard done by there. It's just a soft lock. It's not a press out.
But of course, remember, she had a 4 kilo advantage. But now, of course, Christina Yobu has got 3 attempts, and Paratova's lost one of her lives and has to come out and follow herself here. Now, she cannot afford to make a mistake here.
And there's no way the coaches or athletes are able to appeal. Sat right in front of us in this stadium, 5 jury members, for any decision to be overturned. It's only them that can action it. They'll be watching closely now on this attempt. A little short on the extension. Well, that was worse.
That's a press out.
That was worse, yeah.
That is a press out. Absolutely, definitely.
Oh, and it's a different referee that's failed at this time. Seriously.
I mean, where's the consistency in that?
Well, yeah, I would have failed this. It wasn't great technically, and I tell you why it wasn't great. It's because she's tired, she's fatigued, she hasn't recovered from that previous attempt.
And now, really in trouble, and whilst all that's happening, Rebecca Koha out here, and it's the 17-year-old Michaela who's leading the championship. 195 kilos. Now, she's put the bar up here from 105 to 108. Now, this is a real test. Going for a new personal best, clean and jerk, new personal best total. She's really asking herself a big question here. Be fantastic if she can make it. This is for 5 out of 6. One big effort. How much energy, drive has she got left?
Good, that is fantastic. Needs to stand still.
That is a great lift.
Oh, wow.
That is a great lift. Deservedly gets the 3 white lights. What a competition.
What a fighter. Well, you cannot ask any more of your athlete than to do what she's done. 5 out of 6 lifts. Brilliant effort to stand up out of the clean. Drives to arm's length, does stagger around a bit, but her elbows remain locked. Eventually comes to a standstill. Almost lifts like a beginner with her elbows so high as well after that clean. I'm sure that will change as she develops as an athlete.
So she's taking home 3 medals. The only question is, we know she's got a silver from the snatch. We don't know the position she'll end up in the clean and jerk or the total. But you can see there, look at that gulf. What's that? 10 kilos ahead of Ajaturk of Turkey. That is a mighty effort. 5 out of 6 lifts. And now the defending champion.
Under pressure.
Really under pressure. Because remember, Rebecca Kohar at the halfway stage was only 4 kilos behind. Thirty-second buzzer. And you can't help thinking, Michaela, that there's nervousness that comes into this as well now. That's got to make it.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, that's fine. But, you know, she was so determined to make that overhead. But that takes her to 2:02 and puts her into the overall lead. Rebecca Kohar drops to 2nd place overall, although she still leads in the clean and jerk by virtue of lighter body weight.
Well, that's a lift that she really, really needed. She'll be relieved.
I think she was very unlucky on that first attempt.
I think she was as well. Bit hard done by, but she's got nothing else to do apart from sit in the warm-up room and wait.
So a 3 kilo increase here for Sema Ajaturk of Turkey.
She can't contend for the overall medals, but what she can do is secure a medal on the clean and jerk here.
Yeah, she can go ahead of Rebecca Kohar, but she'll, at the moment, stay in the bronze medal overall, whatever. But can she do this? The second attempt was executed with a great deal of determination, and she's going to need that again here.
She's got it, needs to stand still.
And that absolutely guarantees her a medal in the clean and jerk.
It does guarantee her a medal on the clean and jerk. She is in 3rd in the overall, but remember, we still have Yobo to come out for her first attempt.
Well, that's 3 out of 3 for this young woman.
Well, it buried her at the bottom, didn't it? But she still managed to find the legs to stand. Working hard.
But that's what we've seen in the second half of the competition, haven't we? Real fire, real determination to actually achieve. And now, Yovu, 110 kilos.
David, we saw this on the snatch. Absolutely superb on the first attempt. You cannot fault that. She's 4 kilos down after the snatch, needs to go 114. Surely we're going to see her go straight to 114 now. She's the only lifter left in the competition. 2 attempts remaining. 114 is the weight she needs to take it on body weight.
Well, she's, by my reckoning, what, 2 kilos down? She's 2 kilos of body weight down. She's got 200. Paratova's got 202. But look at that, Nurjan Thailand congratulating Sema Ajaturk. Nurjan, not only a lifter but a coach these days, and a bronze medalist just yesterday in the snatch phase of the 48 kilo women. You can see both of them are really delighted, and all the time now all she's got to do is wait till the moment she's invited to go up onto the stage and then onto the podium. But Yovu now.
Well, Yovu, the coaches are
113,
doing...
which is...
113, it's not enough. It's 114 is the weight she needs. But what they're doing is just running the clock a little bit, give her some more time to recover.
So 113.
113, yeah, I'm just looking at the board there. I'm reading the wrong lifter, sorry.
Yeah, it is.
108 is what Paratova has done, so she's already made up 2 kilo deficit. 108 to 110.
It's not over yet. As you rightly said, Yovu failed those second and third attempts on the snatch, so this is for the championship.
And it's there.
It is.
That's your gold medalist, clean and jerk and total.
So Christina Yovu.
Well, does she come out for a third attempt? She's already got the gold medals. Doesn't have much to achieve by coming out again.
Yeah, Paratova in second place now, a kilo behind, but of course her lifting is all done. Rebecca Kohar confirmed in third place, overall bronze medalist, and also a bronze medalist in the clean and jerk. So, well, 120 kilos. Now, I wonder what Jovu's up here. The European clean and jerk record is 126 kilos, achieved by Eileen Dazdelin. You might remember her for Turkey.
Yep.
In the World Championships of 2011 in Paris, which was her best ever championship. And she got a total there of 219.
Well,
so this is...
I have Yovu's personal best as 121. Do you have the same? Done back in 2013.
Well, she did 120 in the Olympics.
Okay, so what's the relevance of 120? Maybe she's just testing herself ahead of the Olympics. See how far she can push it today, see what shape she's really in. This might be a benchmark for her to then build the next training cycle up to the Olympic Games.
Yeah, I think your assessment is spot on.
It's difficult when you're going head-to-head with another athlete, as she has been so far in this competition. You kind of have to play the game. You have to see what your other competitors are doing and do enough to win. But now she's already won. She's got 1 attempt remaining. What the heck? Let's have a go.
So she started her career for Moldova, went to Azerbaijan. That was a very, very unhappy affair there, having been as a result of a 2-year disqualification, and now back for Romania. And Mikhailo, as we say, hopefully 100% correct. So 120 kilos, she's already won the championship. Well, that is the best of her 3 cleans.
Wow.
And that is the best of her 3 jerks.
Fair play. That was a very, very convincing win. And she knows where she's at now, can go back to the training room over the next few months and prepare as best she can ahead of the Olympic Games. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Very solid, and you'd like to think that with a clean run now of no injuries, healthy training, she could go a few kilos more.
So it's a convincing victory at the end of the day. 210 kilos for the Romanian in picture, and an 8-kilo victory over Paratova, the defending champion, with Rebecca Kohar of Latvia at the age of 17, the European youth and junior champion of last season, with 198, a new personal best in the total, a new personal best in the clean and jerk, and also a silver medal in the snatch, and also a personal best there. So what an afternoon for the Latvian, And, well, you can't deny Jovu, but the lifter for me of this competition, and the name to take away, is Rebecca Koha of Latvia. But here is the 120-kilo effort, which really sealed the deal.
Best lift of the competition. And what a time to do it. There's your European champion, 2016.
So that firmly establishes Romania on the medal table. And just 3 or 4 minutes now to the medal ceremony. And there you can see those statistics. And just to reiterate that the clean and jerk gold goes obviously to Jovu, the silver to Ajaturk of Turkey, and the bronze to Rebecca Koha, as you see the overall results. Well, something to look forward to in Olympic terms there. Not only for the Olympic Games coming up, but also for Tokyo 2020. And there the medal table, that victory of Jovu. 3 golds, all from her. And up she goes to the top of the table there. Well, in fact, she contributes 2 golds, in fact.